Hey y'all, welcome back. I haven't posted a video in a while. I've been busy with work, but we're still climbing. We're trying to get to 2500 on puzzles. I think the last time I posted a video, I was around 2280. So I've still been doing puzzles basically daily. I've been going up and down, but since then I've climbed around 50 points, which is pretty nice to see. Let's go over the puzzles that I did today. We got 5 of them, so let's go. Go into analysis. We'll turn this off. So this is the first puzzle. This one I did not get right. I was kind of being lazy about it. Obviously we have our past pawns that are much further down than their pawns. So our goal is to just promote it. I think the primitive move, which I played during the puzzle, was this, thinking that I could promote in time. But from the analysis, I saw that they just push their pawn, and if we continue to push, thinking like they won't sack their bishop for this, they actually do sack it. And then when it comes to promotion, they're gonna promote first, and they could just sack their pawn for our pawn, or their queen for our queen, something like this. And now we're losing because they have a pawn that's gonna promote. So I think that's the only idea that like you can compare. Like no other idea really makes sense. If you go here, you can't push up. Oh, I guess like what is the difference between here and here? The correct answer is actually to go here and to push like this. Let's calculate. So this is what actually happens in the puzzle where you just push, but let's actually compare, because I thought that don't those two things accomplish the same? What does white play here? Oh, there's a check. Okay, yeah, obviously. Okay, so if we go back to the initial position, okay, yeah, that's why this move is not correct. We want to stay away from the light squares, obviously. Can't believe I didn't even think of that. But yeah, this move is obviously not correct too, because it doesn't help get these pawns connected. Something like this, right? Let's not even check. This blocks our king from going up. But in this case, if we go here, then you're just susceptible to checks because you're on a light square. So moving here, it seems like, is the solution for getting out from the light squares and also allowing the pawns to push up. So that's the solution for this one. We just promote in time, and then we're first to queen, and we can stop them from queening, it seems like. That's the solution for that one. That's the first puzzle. This is the second puzzle. Let's go to analysis. So what does white play? White plays king d5. I think there's only one obvious idea in this puzzle, which is to push the pawn and promote, right? They don't have a passed pawn and we have a passed pawn, so we want to push. There's no obvious mate. We only have a bishop, so I don't think there's any mate ideas. So the only thing to calculate at this point was there's obviously a knight fork coming into this square, which like attacks the bishop. And once it captures the bishop, see something like this, or just play a random move like this, it actually guards the promotion square. So that was something that I had to kind of foresee before pushing the pawn. What would I do when they attack the pawn here? And luckily, once this pawn comes up, it actually frees the square for the bishop to check, and that idea that I showed before is no longer relevant. So let's go down the solution. The correct move was to push the pawn up. They move here. And now, instead of just naively pushing forward, allowing this kind of fork that I mentioned before. We just give a check instead. That forces them to move, and then we just continue to push the pawn. And now, is promotion unstoppable? I think so. They can't. How do they guard this square? They can't. Yeah. I guess that's it. I was thinking, was there another try? They came here. This would have been a different try, I guess. Because they have this check. Forcing us to move our king, and they win our bishop, and this way we still promote, but they're like not. They're up a knight technically if we don't queen. So I think that was the other alternative here. They have the choice at this point to go knight here to allow this to go for this fork, or knight here, and those are the different variations that I saw. That's the second puzzle. Okay, this is the third one. Let's go to analysis. Okay, so they play c6, attacking our rook. Again, this is the same idea with passed pawns. If we push, we're actually threatening checkmate. So it seemed like a good idea. We just have to think a little bit more ahead, right? If we push, they take, it's checkmate. If they don't take, it's checkmate. So, and there's no really way to stop this. If they come with their rook to defend, it's still checkmate. For instance, something like this, right? There's still the back rank problem because of the three musketeers that they have. The three musketeers prevent the king from moving out. So it's kind of trapped in the back. Trapped in the back, that's pretty funny. Yeah, so the first move indeed is to push the pawn. I didn't want to calculate too much ahead at this point because I just want to see what the opponent does because they have to stop this threat. So they ended up letting us queen, which was kind of crazy. So I don't think there's any other move because if we don't queen, they just take our rook, and unless we move our rook, in that case they could just stop us from queening, and then they would be up material. So for instance, like we save our rook and they come here. Actually, does that stop us from queening? It doesn't stop us from queening, but they can queen, right? Why is this not working? Oh, apparently it's a draw. Probably because their passed pawn is too strong. So instead, obviously, I'm greedy. Let's just queen, which is the correct move. And this is the only move. Now, this is where the puzzle becomes super interesting because we're up material, and the idea here is to consolidate. I ran through a couple of ideas before I found the right one for this puzzle. I think essentially the problem is they want to push the pawn and promote, or take our rook and promote. I think if we were to sack our rook for some reason, like let's say for instance here and here, I'm not sure that this is a winning position when I saw this during the calculation because we don't have a passed pawn, and their rook and bishop are actually quite advanced. I just wasn't confident that this was advantageous for us, and usually puzzles you want to find a winning advantage. However, I noticed that we are up material here as long as we're able to consolidate and stop their attack. I saw that I was thinking about moving the rook. Did I do moving the rook here to kind of attack the bishop and also kind of persuade them not to push the pawn. But here I saw this attacking our weakness, and oh wait, no, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about this one. Sorry. I was thinking about here, and if they take, then I take with check. and then somehow maybe I'm able to stop their pawn from promoting. Say like this, check here. Um, I actually saw that there was no way to stop their pawn from promoting, given that their rook is here. Something like this, right? They would still promote. So I saw that that wasn't working. Um, what else did I see? I saw that. What did I see here? Here, I saw something along the lines of attacking. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so I remember now. I saw that I wanted to block, but I had to calculate that this was okay. Something like this here. Oh, that doesn't work. Yeah, obviously it doesn't work. I don't know, I'm crazy. When I was calculating this, I saw that like, oh, they could attack here and I was forced to go here, but obviously my rook is defending it. So, oh, no, no, no. Sorry. This is what I saw. Okay. I saw something like this and I was worried that somehow I didn't have enough compensation to like stop this pawn or stop this pawn from promoting because there's a check over here, something like this, and I'm worried about not getting mated somehow. Um, but yeah, as you can see, it doesn't really work. So the key was actually just to find that the rook can block. And I think that was the end of the puzzle. Let me refresh the page because I actually went down this rabbit hole. Where's the solution? Yeah, so that was the end of the puzzle actually. It's just a defensive move to consolidate the position. Here, if they advance, what's the move? Oh, you just take the rook, obviously. The rook is hanging. So here you're trying to force a consolidation and trade of rooks or defend the position if they come up here and here. I think this is winning, right? Yeah, they play c7 and queen c2. You're stopping mate or stopping queen. Nice. Okay, that was that one. Did I just closed? No. Okay, let's go to analysis again for the next puzzle. So this one I got incorrect, but like it seems like all these ideas so far have been passed pawns. For this one, they played, was this b4? The first thing I noticed was they're kind of trapping in their rook here. It's hard for them to move and get back into the game. Another thing that I saw was, okay, I want to kind of push this queen away. The only idea that I have is to promote this pawn. They can't come here because my pawn is defending. So what can they do if I go here and here, right? I want to clear up this rank or this rank, right? This rank so I can continue pushing the pawn and eventually queen. Now I got this one incorrect because of an idea that I'll share with you here. So here, I saw in this position that they could come in like this and check if I were to push my rook to the 7th rank to harass the queen. And after that, let me show you. I saw that the queen can come here, but I saw that I could block. And then I thought I was good. But obviously, in my brain, I did not see this, which leads to mate, I believe. Oh, this is just mate. Yeah, I thought that like, oh, I could escape here in my brain after doing this, but yeah, I did not see that pawn there. I just saw here, and you had to take with the pawn. I didn't know. I didn't see queen could take. I only saw this, which is crazy in retrospect. But the trick here is actually to play, instead of going too early, is to play a quiet move, queen d4, preventing this check, which leads to mate in that specific line, which is crazy. Here it's basically the same idea. I think that you move the rook now, and then they give the check, only move. Otherwise, you lose material, right? It's not, obviously you don't want to do that. And then now they just sack the queen because promotion was unstoppable. And that's the end of this one. Going to the last but not least one. Let's go to analysis again. So this one was pretty confusing. I ended up getting it, but I think what I'm realizing as I'm doing more and more puzzles is thinking about the ideas that work and trying to funnel out the ideas that are noise and don't work. Now I'll give you an example here. So instinctively I thought that like this may have been something to do with this pin. There's a pin right here, which means that this pawn is actually weak. Now, the pin does not allow this pawn to move, so technically the queen, with the queen here, this pawn is actually hanging. And I thought that I could swing the rook over to attack this pawn and capture it, and that would allow for an attack. Now let me play some moves, and I'll show you just like why that doesn't even work. I'll play a random move for white. I'll give a check. So this is what I imagine in my mind, right? Like I'm attacking, I'm gonna win. But even here, after I utilize the pin to capture a pawn, the king comes into this square, g2, and there's no way for me to continue to attack it. Like it's on a light square right now, right? So my light square bishop can potentially attack it. But even here, you can see that there's no entryway for like this bishop to come in and harass their king. So that was my initial idea, and I realized after the king moves, even to this square, right? This is only one of the options out of the two. Even for this one that I first saw, there is no continuation. So I knew from that this idea actually doesn't work. I could like filter that out. One of the other ideas that I ran through, I guess, or I noticed, was that the queen is actually kind of stuck defending these two pieces. Um, if I take the bishop with my bishop, right now the knight can take or the queen can take, but if this knight wasn't here, I noticed that the queen must take, which means that in that scenario, the queen could kind of be there's an opportunity for the queen to be overloaded. If the queen must take, that means it must remove itself from this position and all the pieces that it touches. It's a little bit abstract, but I'll show you what I mean on the board. So here, the knight can take, right? And then I continue down the road and everything is still guarded. This is like kind of a fair trade. However, if the queen takes here, you can see that this knight is like attacked by two pieces and is only defended by one. So I think that was what I noticed in my head while calculating, like, okay, what if I sack the exchange like so, and they capture back. Now this queen is overloaded. In this scenario, if they capture back with the with the rook, and if they capture back with the queen, right, they just lose their queen. So that's unacceptable. So I noticed that in this line, I think this is actually the solution for this puzzle. That here the queen is overloaded. It can't capture back the piece and also guard the rook at the same time. So here in the puzzle, they actually play c4, which is explosive. I take, and that's the end of the puzzle, but I take because you're attacking my bishop, right? And I want to continue defending my bishop with my rook now. And now I'm kind of, what is this, threatening a discover attack on the rook and also an attack on the queen at the same time. I'm threatening this move if you don't do anything. So yeah, that's the puzzle. Thing I learned from this puzzle is just to find the right ideas and kind of filter out the bad ones. In this position, like I mentioned before, there was this pin that I thought played, but ultimately it didn't lead to anywhere. So hopefully you enjoyed that. It was fun for me. Um, if you like the content, let me know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.